All right, good day, guys. So I know it's been a while since, well, it's probably been a couple of weeks since I put an image up or anything, but we've been having atrocious weather down here in Australia. It seems to go from sort of quite cool again to quite hot, but the clouds themselves are staying fairly consistently, as would be the case. But this last Wednesday, at least, we did manage to get a single clear night. So I decided what I was going to do is take the planetary setup off my Celestron C925 here and put the DSO setup back on, which in itself was a bit of palaver because the focus obviously is quite different, so you've got to get it back to the right focus point. And also I'd forgot a backspacer on the DSO setup. So anyway, at least I managed to get that sorted out the night before, so it wasn't a huge issue. And what I decided to go for, I thought it's nearly a new moon and I've got this one rare clear night. So I found these two galaxies sort of pointing in the north. They're in Cetus, in the constellation Cetus, and the Cetus A was one of the galaxies, and next to it is NGC 1055. So they're actually bound together, these two galaxies. And as kind of luck would have it, they both would fit in the APS-C size frame. So at least I could manage to get them both in the one frame. Now, I'm not going to get particularly close, obviously, due to the focal length on these, but I thought at least I can get the two together and it might be interesting to at least see what I get. I did have some mount issues, unfortunately, so I did lose quite a few frames, but I managed to probably get around the 5-hour mark. So I've proceeded with it, and well, let's just jump onto the PCA and see what we managed to come up with anyway. So let's get on. All right, guys. So let's have a look first at what I got in my individual subs. So I couldn't really start taking this image until about 11 o'clock because it only gets over 30 degrees at 11 o'clock. And as you can see, like this is to the north of my house, kind of the northeast, which is, you know, worse than certainly worse than the south direction for my house. So I didn't get many subs for my RGB channels. I literally only managed about 11 subs, I think, on red, green and blue. Unfortunately, I lost, I think I only had about 6 hours in total, and I ended up losing a good hour due to some mount issues, which happened at about 1 in the morning, where for whatever reason it was it just wasn't guiding properly, and I had a bunch of subs where the stars were just completely streaked. But anyway, you know, you got to work with what you've got, so I did, and I thought I'll carry on with it anyway. So we got, that's a blue sub, there's a green, and as you can see, so you got Cetus A over here and NGC 1055 over here. Got these two nice stars as well next to this one, and the red channel here. Now there's a bit of, you'll probably notice there's a bit of vignetting here in the corner as well, and I'm pretty sure what that is I think I recently set up my OAG again, and I've dropped the prism right down in it, and I think that's what's happening. I think it's sort of causing a little bit of a shadow onto the sensor, so I'm going to try just lifting that up again a bit next time I image. So, you know, I must admit, when I first looked at these, I wasn't the most optimistic. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be the best image on the planet anyway, but at least I can see the two galaxies. So there you go, there's Cetus A, and there's NGC 1055. So 1055 here, just having a quick look at Wikipedia here, is basically an edge-on spiral galaxy. Let's have a look. When was it discovered? So discovered on December 19, 1783 by Mr. Herschel, William Herschel, in Slough, England. Crikey. I often wonder how he discovered anything in Slough. I always imagine Slough in the UK just to be covered in cloud constantly. And it says, yeah, so it's a binary system together with its bright spiral galaxy, with the bright spiral galaxy M77 or NGC 1068, which is Cetus A over here. And I can just show you, just so we can sort of see where everything is for anybody that's interested in maybe having a look at these. So this is, here's Cetus here. Now this is looking at it at 11 o'clock. So as you can see, it's just getting over sort of 30 degrees by about 11 o'clock. And here's your two galaxies here. Cetus A is quite nice there on the right. It's so apparently it's also known as the Squid Galaxy. So it's NGC 1068 or Messier 77. It's a barred spiral, about 47 million light years away. Discovered by Pierre Méchain in 1780, who originally described it. Oh, apparently, so originally described as a nebula. It says here Méchain then communicated his discovery to Charles Messier, who subsequently listed it in the object in his catalogue. Both Messier and William Herschel described this galaxy as a star cluster. Today, obviously, however, it's known to be a galaxy. Okay. Well, there you go. So that's basically where they are anyway. Yeah, so sort of northeast and not far away from Jupiter there. All right, so let's get back to this anyway. So like I said, we didn't have much. I at least got 22 luminance frames, thank Lord, or it probably wouldn't have been, probably might not have been worth processing, but I got those. And this is what we sort of got in our individual subs down here. So that's our blue stacked. By the time the flats were in there, at least there's still a little bit sort of a gradient here, but at least it was looking a little bit better. So there's you can see we've got a bit of a spirally going on here. Get over to the green, and your red. So your red stack, and finally your luminance. So you can see you kind of do get this, you can get this swirling, I don't know, this sort of swirling effect around Cetus A, and I have seen some pictures, some much better images obviously than mine, where you can really see a lot more detail in here. Yeah, so anyway, let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a look now. Oh, and there's also, I think we can see up here, we've also got another little galaxy at the top here. There's actually quite a number of galaxies around these in this region, and I think possibly even here, right up at the top. All right, so that's they're the stacked. There are stacked images. These were all, by the way, 3-minute exposures. These frames, LRGB 3-minute exposures. So bit of a mess, my PixInsight. Apologies for what a mess this is. I got range masks everywhere. Let's have a look what we got here. Photometric color calibration. So look, I'm no PixInsight master, so I'm certainly don't take any tips. Don't take any tips from me here. But here's our. So basically, first just the usual rigmarole. Obviously, I've cropped each of these down to get rid of any artifacts around the edges. You can see I did have this sort of gradient, I think, caused by that shadow that was in the bottom right hand corner, but pretty much got rid of that. Yeah, green, and the same obviously with red and luminance. So then I just went ahead and I applied a dynamic background extraction, which certainly, you know, got everything looking a bit more even. There's still a bit, like I say, there's still a bit that I can see in the bottom right hand corner there. But, you know, seeing these in here with a little bit of DBE, obviously as you're getting close and the amount of exposures I took, obviously it's going to look very noisy here. And then just the same, obviously, with red and, you know, I got some, at least as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, I think that might actually be possibly another galaxy there. But at least as I was looking at this, I was thinking, oh, well, it's not as bad as the subs themselves indicated. And, you know, sometimes you have to remember that, especially taking broadband from a Bortle, definitely a 6, at least a 6 in that direction, I'm sure, from my house. You've got to remember sometimes you just got to push through and just push through and stack the images and see what you get sometimes. And this was them, so this was them combined. This is the RGB. Now next to NGC 1055 over here, I must say I really, although I like Cetus A, I really do like, I don't know what it is about side-on or flat galaxies like that where you get that sort of glow from the center, but I just really enjoy that sort of that look, that sort of side-on framing or look. And it's quite nice with these 3 big surrounding stars here. You've got this orange star and this blue one, this one down here. All right, so once I got to this stage, I needed to do some sort of you can see there's kind of that greeny, pasty background in it. And I have to make a confession at this point, guys. I had to go back and look at some of my own processing and a couple of videos to try and remember how the hell to process an LRGB image, because it's so long since I've done any LRGB stuff in PixInsight. Yeah, luckily James's videos from DSO Imager, their DSO Imager channel, are always out there, so that's always a good one if I need to remember anything. So yeah, thanks James. So yeah, from this point here, what did we do? We sort of went on and used the photometric color calibration on this. Might just stretch. Maybe I'll stretch this one. This looks a bit. So that was sort of sorting the colors out there. Again, you can see a little bit of something in the, but at least now I was starting to see, you know, the background was looking a little bit better. I must admit, I don't know for you guys who've used photometric color calibration before, there seems to have been a change with it. I did notice as I was trying to run photometric color calibration, you used to have the feature where you could actually put in your RA and DEC, I think, and pull in the information that way. But it looks like it's changed. So what I had to do was I first had to use image analysis, and I had to use image solver, where I put in my RA and DEC information. I think I must have done a search for it, yeah, and which brought in my RA and DEC. I then put my date and time in, and put my pixel size in, and I used the online star catalog. So that kind of did the plate solve side of things for me. Once I'd done that, then I could use the photometric color calibration tool. But it used to all be sort of combined and embedded in the one tool. So that, anyway, that just something to note. It took me a while just to work out what had changed there. So look, you know, there's not huge amounts more to say here. I'm trying to remember exactly what I've done. So that's a bit further along. So that's that done. Then I went through and I did the luminance layer. So look, basically from here, I mean, really all I did is I got my luminance layer here, which, you know, had the stars obviously taken out of it, because I'm obviously not going to be using the stars from this. Got my RGB stars, which I think are down, maybe this is them here. So yeah, I've got my RGB stars down here. So then I basically just took my luminance layer and I stuck it over a yeah, basically just stuck that over the top of the RGB layer, which had blurred out a little bit, and I kind of got this. Obviously, still still a little bit noisy in there. Again, given the amount of data that I've got, that was pretty much to be expected. Then from here, really, I think really all I did is I have a bunch of, a whole bunch of masks over here. So because I didn't have much data to work with, and because they're so small, it was just a case of working with a few different masks and trying to work out, different ways here to bring out just a little bit more detail, because obviously especially this Cetus A galaxy, it does have this kind of a sort of a ball around it, like a sort of a sphere that actually goes around the galaxy itself, which I kind of wanted to just see if I could bring out a little bit anyway, which, you can kind of see something there around it. And then on this image, which I'd combined with the RGB stars, I basically ran Blur Exterminator, which did give me that little bit more detail. And I did put a bit more saturation in the stars before I combined them. And then, yeah, like I said, back and forth with different masks, and sort of, that one I think was just to protect the core here when I was playing around a little bit. And then I took it into Photoshop, really, and sort of just did a few little tweaks just in Photoshop in the raw camera editor in there. That was pretty much what I got. So, considering all in all the amount of time that I actually got, I don't mind this photo. I think it's kind of a charming little image of these two galaxies next to each other, and this tiny extra little galaxy up at the top here. Anyway, so that's pretty much all I've got. So thanks again for watching. Thanks very much for watching. Maybe you got a little bit of something out of the video, and clear skies to everybody out there, and I'll see you on the next one.